Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are going to be focusing on ser and estar in Spanish and how we say I am. So, ser and estar both mean I am in Spanish, but we use them for different contexts. Let's look at the different ways that we use them and how to say them in Spanish. So, as I previously said, I am in Spanish can be used with the verb ser or estar. They both mean to be. Ser is kind of different because it's used in more permanent situations, while estar is used for locations and temporary feelings. So those are the main differences between them, but they both mean to be. Let's look at some examples. Let's look at some different examples between ser and estar. First, we have yo soy Maya. Here we're using ser, I am Maya, because this is who I am. Next, we have yo estoy feliz. Here I use estar, I am happy, because this is a temporary emotion. The third one is a good way to look at it. Yo soy una persona feliz. I'm using ser, I am a happy person, because this is my personality. This is who I am as a person, not just a temporary emotion. And number four, yo estoy en la casa. I use estar. I am in the house. Because this is a location, I'm always going to use estar. Let's look at some examples side by side in English and Spanish. Okay, so before we get into an example of a conversation or a paragraph with ser and estar, I want us to look at these both side by side. So remember, ser is to be, and it is more permanent, and estar is to be for emotions and temporary locations, okay? So if we look at it side by side, we can see that they both mean I am, you are for each pronoun. However, we use them in different situations. I really want to stress that because it's important to know. So I'm going to say ser first, and I want you to say it out loud with me. And then I'm going to go on to estar, and I want you to say that out loud with me as well. Okay, let's get started. Yo soy. I am. Tú eres. You are. Él, ella, usted es. He, she, it is. Nosotros somos, we are. Vosotros sois, y'all are. And ellos, ellas, ustedes son, they or y'all are. Great job. Now let's go into estar. Remember, we say them differently. Yo estoy, I am. Tú estás, you are. Él, ella, usted está. He, she, it is. Nosotros estamos. We are. Vosotros estáis. Y'all are. And ellos, ellas, ustedes están. They or y'all are. Okay, so those weren't too hard, right? They're not too difficult to say, and we can kind of remember them pretty easily. So let's go on to a conversation in Spanish using ser and estar so that we can look at the differences between them and really understand it. Okay, so let's look at an example of the difference between ser and estar within a conversation or within a paragraph. So, first, I'm going to say it in Spanish. I want you to listen with me and try and figure out why am I using soy here for ser and why am I using estoy here for estar. Let's get into it. Yo soy Maya. Soy de los Estados Unidos. Soy profesora y traductora de español. Soy mujer, hija y hermana. Estoy enseñando clases de español. Estoy en mi casa hablando con ustedes. Okay, how did that sound? This was your first time listening to Spanish spoken out loud using ser and estar. So let's get into it in English. Okay, so now we're getting into it side by side. We have Spanish and English next to each other so you can see what I was saying. Yo soy Maya. I am Maya. Here I'm using soy, which comes from the verb ser, because this is a permanent thing about me. Soy de los Estados Unidos. I am from the United States. Again, nationality, we always use ser. Soy profesora y traductora de español. I am a Spanish professor and translator. For your job, for your profession, you're usually always going to use ser. Then I say, soy mujer, hija y hermana. I am a woman, daughter, and sister. These are all parts of who I am, and they are unlikely to change. Therefore, I have to use ser. Then, estoy enseñando clases de español. I am teaching Spanish classes, okay? This is something I'm doing right now in this moment. It's a temporary thing, so I'm going to use estoy, which comes from estar. And I am in my house speaking with you all. Estoy en mi casa hablando con ustedes. This is a temporary location, so I have to use estar. How did that feel? Was that easy? Was that hard? Don't worry if you don't recognize any of the other words. I just want you to get used to the difference that I am in Spanish is used in two different ways for temporary and permanent situations. Okay, great job. Vamos a la próxima. Gracias.